it's Desiree, and we are here with the Spellbinders Card Kit of the month. And as always, we're going to start with what comes in your kit when you receive it. So you get your card, and it'll give you some inspiration and list the items that you will get. You will get a piece of gold mirror cardstock along with other shades, green, pinks, blues, yellows, purples. Oh, and I forgot to say that this month's kit for April is called Picket Fences. You get your 10 card bases that are standard A2 size, side folding with envelopes, a block of double-sided foam squares, and a roll of double-sided tape. You get your 6x6 paper pad, and again, this is a paper pad. All right, this is not a cardstock pad, but this paper, it's probably about a 60-pound weight, and it is perfect for layering. You get 2 sheets of every design that is in this paper pad as I am flipping through it. So some of them have gold foiling on them, some of them are small designs, some of them have scenes, some of them have words. So there's all kinds of great choices within that paper pad. You'll get some puffy sentiment stickers. You'll also get a bag of clear sequins. You'll get a package of chipboard stickers. And my favorite, the die cut pack. There's always a die cut pack with each of these kits, and I fall in love with this. It's got some great images, great ways to create some cards. This kit just has everything. It has your stamp, your die, your paper, your die cuts. So it hits every avenue if you want to just try some things out. There's your stamp set. We have some great sentiments on there with double type fonts and a cute little house. And then we have our die, which of course has a picket fence and some florals. So let's get started on our first card. So when it comes to this kit, I am very much inspired by it for collaging, layering those papers. And that's really what my video falls into. I may use the stamp, I may use the die. I also may not. That's the beauty of it when it comes to a kit. What's great with kits as well is everything goes together. So that's how kits are designed. The pattern papers, the stamps, the dies, all the embellishments that come with it are designed to go together so you can remove that stress. I get a question many times within my comments, how do you know what papers to match up? If it's coming from one paper pad, there's no thought process in there. They all will go together because again, it's designed for that. For the first card, I grabbed all of the tree die cuts and these little tiny chipboard bird houses. So I thought it was perfect to pull 3 of those, set them in different areas, and then hang or make it look like a birdhouse is hanging from each of them. So we're just going to set those down. And even though these are stickers as well, I do like to put just a little bit of glue. I'm going to add some 3 sequins as well into each of the trees, just to give it a little bit of sparkle. What's great also with the die cuts is you can create your own pattern paper, your own background. I fell in love with all of these flowers, these floral images, which are very similar to what you'll have in your die, but why not just layer them and have fun placing them all over a card front panel? I do like to work with a design panel sometimes, well, most of the time. And in this case, I did create one, and I'm just placing these flowers all around it. Not really worrying about dimension or anything like that, because as I continue to layer them, it's going to create its own dimension. It's going to create its own texture. And that's what we're going for here. So this is actually my favorite note card out of the set. And I call them note cards because some of them I do put a sentiment on and some of them I don't. I love cards that don't have a sentiment. 2 reasons. 1, we put a lot of work to the front. sometimes. And why should we cover that up? You know, let it shine. Put your writing on the inside. When somebody opens that up, they're going to know it's a, hey, how you doing? Just reaching out. Or, hey, congratulations, it's your birthday. Or anything like that. I'm going to trim around the edges just to make this even, so it'll make it look like your own pattern paper. And I just think that is absolutely adorable. I'm going to use my double-sided tape to adhere it onto the standard A2 size card bases that come in. Now, these, when I call them side folding, is to make it a portrait, it will be a side folding card. I'm going to add some sequins to some of the flower sentiments. Again, just to add some sparkle and shine to them. And that's card number 2. For our next card, what I always love to say when it comes to pattern paper is pattern paper can do the work for you. You can simply just layer a couple pieces of pattern paper together. It's going to create your background. It's going to create your front. And then just by adding a simple sentiment and one of the die cut images, you will have a card in no time. Again, coming from a kit, and coming from that paper pad, everything is going to match. And again, this is how this kit is designed, even with the die cuts. You can choose any die cut that you like, and it's going to match. Once I have that set along that dividing line, I'm going to add, again, 3 sequins. For this one, we're going to have a few more pieces of our die cuts. I do, when it comes to this kit, I break down the paper pad. I take one page, sorry for the crinkling here, I take one page of each of the pattern papers and I cut them down to 4 by 5 1/4. And then I just start laying them out and saying, yep, I like this one to go with this one and this one to go with this one. And then I start deciding, okay, do I want to put a panel on top of that? And this is what I did with this one. So I have that beautiful, bold, dark background as the main panel. And then I chose one of the softer pattern papers, cut it a little bit smaller. I don't measure. I know I get people so upset with this. I just don't. I enjoy the process. I just go with what looks good and do that as well. I think this is cut, maybe 2.5 by 3.5. And then I just added some die cuts around that. For our next card, kind of just, again, let that pattern paper be the background and added some of the florals that I had left from the second card that we put together and pulled in some of these big, beautiful daisies. And I had these adorable little sweets, a little tiny cake and a little tiny cupcake. So they're going to be in the mix as well. I'm cutting this strip from the pattern paper to go across because what that's going to do, that's going to help with all of the pieces, even though it's going to be covered up a lot, it's going to help those pieces to pop off so that you will see them. So it's almost like a way to frame your die cuts so that you can identify. It's going to draw the eye right to those images. So even though we have all of these hearts in the background, I get this question too, you know, can you put two busy papers together? You can. You just want to put either like a strip of solid or a block of solid behind. In this case, I'm using a lot of die cuts, and it'll help separate that so that your eye can notice the beautiful hearts, but then automatically be drawn down into the design. And if you notice, my design is not going in the direct center. So rule of thirds. I always set mine just a little bit lower or maybe a little bit higher. I very rarely go into the direct center. And if I do, like in the previous card, I've got items coming off the corner of that panel and coming off the corner of the top. Again, just to break it out and make it look like it's stretching. For this card here, and I'm trying to find it because I have them stacked in front of me, it was a coffee theme, absolutely. I grabbed the takeout coffee mug and I grabbed the chipboard smaller coffee mug, or it could be tea, whichever one it is. And again, I have this large panel, big florals, bold print, and I just have this strip of pattern paper coming down, but I'm going to put my items on top of that. Again, it's a way to frame one of those items, even though these ephemera pieces that I'm putting on are coming off of that block. It's just helping to make them stand out. Again, your eye is just automatically going to be drawn into those designs. For this one here, I loved the map. I thought the map was really cool. So this is going to be a landscape card, and I pulled all of the house die cuts, so to make it look like a little street here. So I have a solid cardstock panel, and then I'm going to add a strip of the gold mirror cardstock along the bottom, which will kind of give the illusion of a street or a sidewalk, maybe. And we're just going to adhere that down. And I like to use, since the Spellbinders mirror cardstock is mirror double-sided, which I love, putting glue on that, it just makes it, slip slidey. It just keeps moving, and I keep forgetting about it. So it ends up, when I put it on the bottom of the card, at the top. So we use double-sided tape for that. Yes, it just works better. I'm going to set that on my panel, and now we're just going to set our homes. The ones that do not have the white border, I put towards the back, and those die cuts that had a white border, I'm going to prop those up using my leftover double-sided foam squares from previous kits. I like to use those up first. I'm going to prop those up in the front, just to, because they have that white border. I'm going to add the best neighbor ever, and then a guest book coming right up off the top. And again, we've got that solid square, but we've altered it because we've added those houses at the bottom. So it doesn't quite look like a square or a rectangle. Still stuck on these absolutely adorable houses. I just thought they were really, really cute. Again, a large panel in the back. I cut a strip, sticking with soft colors though. Nothing too bold, but very soft. Just deeper in a color in the background. I have a strip, and I pulled out the chipboard pieces. So I had a row of trees and one of the cafes. So I'm going to put the cafe down and put the trees right next to it. So again, kind of creating a strip, maybe like a sidewalk or a street, but creating that same row, and then pulling a chipboard sentiment that simply says Memory Lane. Going to add some sequins for some sparkle. Now, I really loved the stamp. Now, I do apologize. Yeah, I forgot to hit record. So what I did was I took a panel of watercolor cardstock, Canson XL, because I loved the texture, and I just stamped the house multiple times using speckled egg distress oxide, and then I used my clear embossing powder on top of that. So again, creating my own pattern with the stamp, and then just heat embossing it. Don't need to add any color. We've got our beautiful color there now. I have the swans in the background, thought that was a nice print. And then I'm going to use the sentiment, for all you do, for all you are, all our thanks. So that whole all our thanks gave me the inspiration or the idea. I'm going to stamp multiple houses. So it's like a neighborhood saying thank you to someone. Going to add, again, 3 more sequins because I always add my embellishments in odd numbers. Yes. And then for our final card, again, still loving that stamp. So I did some masking, and to save time, I didn't show all of the coloring. I pulled out those colored pencils that I love so much. I have a square, and I just added some grass on the bottom, and I used some tumble glass going around it. And I have the 2 back houses stamped in a gray. It's actually my Simon Says Intense Black. I just need a new one, but I really love this color, so I'm really hoping it stays because it's a soft black. Stamp those 2 in the back, but first I stamped the one in the front, masked that one, and then stamped on each side, and then I colored the one in the front and added the sentiment, "Welcome to the neighborhood." I used the mirror cardstock to make a frame behind it. I cut out the inside because I love to hoard my mirror cardstock. I'm addicted to mirror cardstock. Yeah, just a little bit. So I finally got used to cutting out the inside. Yes, you all told me, Des, cut out the inside, cut out the inside. And I do now. Again, using my double-sided tape to make sure that this is adhered so it won't go slippy-slidey all over the card base that I'm about to put that on. I'm going to set that, again, somewhat, it's a little high. It doesn't look like it is, but it is. It's just set up a little bit higher on the card, not directly in the center, and I'm going to place my sentiment right along the top, not to cover all of the houses that we've stamped and colored. I'm going to trim off the excess cardstock. And those are our 10 cards that we created featuring the Spellbinders Card Kit of the month called Picket Fences. I hope I gave you some ideas. Again, I am so inspired by this kit when it comes to collaging and using up those die cuts. So I do hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I will have links down to all of the clubs that are available by Spellbinders to their blog for even more inspiration if you wanted to check those out. If you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below and I will make sure I get back to you as soon as I can. Make sure you stay tuned to tomorrow where I will be featuring the Glimmer Card Kit of the month. Some really fun. Really had a nice and a fun time with them. Continue to enjoy this process. I always tell you, especially in this video, every item that you make, it is a piece of art. It is your art and it is unique. Try as much as you want, and there are always alternatives to those items so that you can try them. But always enjoy and have fun and keep playing. Because that's what this is about. You're playing with everything. I'd love for you to subscribe. So I'll make sure pretty soon you'll see a link here. But make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. That'll push this video out because if you enjoyed it, I'm sure somebody else might enjoy it as well. But remember what's always most important to me each and every day. Not only to enjoy this, but always be creative. And I'll be talking to y'all in the next video. Till then. Take care.